so in love with you.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. This video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and listen to me very, very carefully. We have the fastest equity and price decline in history right now. The amount of declines are unprecedented and unlike anything we've ever seen before. Now, week over week, the national average home price went down 1%. That is an annualized rate of 52%, you guys. We now have so much overwhelming data. There is no longer a need to listen to people that are saying it's just a great time to buy and everything is fine with the housing market, because the reality is we have the fastest price crash in history happening right now, without ample inventory and without a foreclosure crisis. So, in other words, y'all, we don't have to guess anymore. We have the fastest price crash in history. Obviously, what you're going to need to do is prepare for that to happen. Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you guys some really overwhelming week over week data from Redfin, and I'm also going to reference a little bit Zillow. But regardless, you guys, now remember, I'm not your financial advisor, even if I want to be, even though my bio is as a realtor, loan officer, and instructor in real estate in Texas. So I love real estate and I love helping people and educating. So guys, please do me a favor for my message to potential first-time home buyers. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and do me a favor, shoot me a comment below. But let's get started right now. Now, the main article that we're going to read today, guys, is from Redfin. It's titled Housing Market Update, Demand Declines Ease as Mortgage Rates Steady Around 7%. So obviously Redfin gives week over week data comparisons. And what I found out this week as far as prices, guys, is it appears the interest rates have finally caught up to prices or have just started. Regardless, look at how Redfin is still being a bit optimistic. Let's read. A few measures of home buying demand ticked up in the last week of October, a month that saw 1/3 fewer pending sales than a year earlier. A glimmer of hope could be seen in the data that mostly reflects a housing market coping with the pain of high interest rates, which this week's Fed statement suggests may take longer to come down than previously expect. You know, I would agree the data is reflecting that the housing market is coping with quantitative tightening in the form of demolished demand and obviously crashing prices. So that I would agree with that, but I don't agree with how it's coping with it, right? I think it's coping with it because no one can afford houses right now because the house values went up almost 40% in just 2 years. Crazy, right? So, I mean, you know, when all this entire time, y'all, when I've been saying there's a crash and explaining the reasons why, I have been looking specifically at equity growth, right? Equity growth. That's why we have a bubble. The bubble is the equity, right? We don't need the foreclosure wave. We don't need overwhelming hyper supply and hyper inventory for a price crash to happen, as evident in the data. And as I get on through this video, you guys, I'm going to pull up the actual week over week data, and I think it's going to blow your mind. But let's get started now and look at the leading indicators from this week's report. All right, here's some of Redfin's leading indicators, and you guys can see the national average interest rate was 6.95%. Again, that takes in the preceding week's interest rates. So more than likely the interest rates are higher for you and me, 50 to 75 basis points higher. But I do want to point out that, you know, online searches are still down 32%. Home buying demand is shattered at down 33%. I actually think that's higher. Touring activity is down 32%. Mortgage applications, you guys, are down 41%. So we more than likely are going to see more layoffs in the mortgage sector, which obviously I'm in that sector. So, you know, I'm a little scared because, you know, I have good people that I work with and I'm a little bit worried for them and even for me. But also I want to point this out down here, guys, and then we'll really dig into the price. The median sales price was $360,861, up only 4%. It's actually lower than that, but up only 4% year over year. This growth rate was down 13 points from the peak annual increase in March. So do you guys remember when Zillow anticipated from January to January, I believe, a 17% increase? Do you guys remember that? We're only at 4% right now. And here's the amazing thing. We're headed into natural price declines, seasonal price declines. So the question is will we lose another 4% before the end of the year and have a national average of year over year decline? I think that's possible. Now, take a look at the cities that are still on the year over year price decline list. Now, obviously, we've had 10 metro areas on this list. As of right now, only San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Lake County, Illinois are on the list. But again, you guys, let me show you the reality of what's happening right now with price crashes. So let me go to Redfin's data center and access the chart that shows median sales price as far as the national average. And I think you guys are going to be a little blown away because this has never happened this quickly before. Okay, so here we are with Redfin's weekly housing market data. Obviously, this is in their data center here. I can actually drop down right here and pick individual metro areas, and I can get all kinds of stuff like months of supply. I can get all of that, guys. So I suggest you go here if you want to know about your own local housing market. Please go here and learn about your local housing market, guys. I'm pretty much begging you to do that, please, right? I link it in my description, but I do want to point out that the peak was June 19th at 392,000. Home prices have crashed all the way down to $361,000, which represents $31,000 for an exact decrease of 7.8%. Again, you guys, home prices are down from peak right now, 7.8%. Is that not shocking? But I really want to point this out. 1 week ago, the median average was 365,000. So in 1 week, you guys, in 1 week, the median sales price went down $4,000, which is over 1% in price decline in just 1 week. This is the fastest price decline on record, and it has only just begun. Normally, you guys, home prices don't go down 7.8% in a matter of what, 4 months? This is absolutely shocking information. So to all the people that are saying that, home price crash can't exist, there's not enough inventory, there's not enough foreclosure, there's not enough unemployment. Look it. Yes, we can have a price crash because that's exactly what we're having right now. Not because unemployment, not because foreclosures, not because of inventory. We're having a price crash right now because homes are overvalued greatly. And it's breaking all the fundamentals of equity growth. That's why we're having a price crash right now. But let's get back into the data and let me show you how finally median sales price has caught up or is starting to catch up now to the 7% interest rates. Okay, here's Redfin's median sales price for 2022, 2021, and 2020. Now, obviously, guys, I have been saying how desperately, and I really want to see this. I want to see the red line go under the blue line. It is possible because look at the trajectory. We're finally starting to see week over week because, again, remember, Redfin is week over week data. So that's why I'm referencing them all of the time because they just give us so much data. I really appreciate that about them. I actually trust them more than Zillow. But again, you guys, I don't trust them. I'm just saying more than Zillow. But look at this. Week over week, it's starting to trend downward. So more than likely, this is going to happen, you guys, for probably a few weeks. And again, we want it to get under this blue line because if this red line gets under the blue line, that will mean on a national average scale, the average home is actually down year over year, which is an astonishing thing to happen in a matter of 6 months. But again, you guys, you can see it's finally trending downward. Keep your eyes on this data, you guys, because more than likely, and I really hope that red line will cross the blue line. Now let's go ahead and take a look at inventory. Here's Redfin's months of supply available on the market. Now, as you can see right now, guys, as far as months of supply, we are surging. So we are surging with months of supply. Now, obviously, you can still look at active units, and we are historically low from an active unit standpoint. But the reason why months of supply is super important, especially right now, is there's quantitative tightening going on. There's a lot of changes. So this is a good measure because it takes into account demand. And when we take into account demand, then we really know how much supply we actually need. So you can see, look at, as of about the start of October, supply has been going up. Look at that, straight up. And more than likely, guys, again, I hope that we get to at least 4 months this year. I believe we're going to hit 6 months the beginning of next year. The really important thing that and this is what I keep telling you guys, the really important thing about months of supply is generally once we have 6 months or more of months of supply, the market's considered a buyer's market. The important thing about a buyer's market is it generally means that buyers can ask for crazy incentives, just like the sellers were asking for crazy things like going above the appraisal value, waiving all of your protections and rights. Do y'all remember that? It's about to be our turn as prospective buyers. Inventory is going up. Prices are going down, which is an absolutely beautiful thing that any potential home buyer like myself wants to see. Let me just end here, guys. Let me read a little bit about the actual article as far as what is Redfin saying, and I've circled where I really want to pinpoint. This week, the Fed brought into view the light at the end of the tunnel by slowing the pace of interest rate hikes. But the tunnel's exit may be more dreadful than expected. There is also a glimmer of hope in the data that buyers stopped leaving the market as mortgage rates leveled off this week. But we're still deep in the market that is coping with the pains of higher interest rates. Mortgage rates may take longer to come down than many have expected, which means housing trends could continue to worsen as the economy adjusts to higher rates. If last year's housing market was overheated, as Chair Powell stated on Wednesday, then record growth in rates was like a bucket of water poured on the flames to bring it into balance. It may take some time for the smoke to clear to see where things stand next year. So although I don't agree with a lot of what we just read right there, you guys, at least they're ending with a more cautious approach. And again, the point I always like to make is, because I get attacked all the time by people, I'm being cautious, right? I'm being cautious because I have learned the hard way, and I have been doing this for 2 decades in real estate, predominantly helping first-time home buyers. So I believe in being cautious when it comes to the largest transaction of your life. And also, if people are listening to me, I'm also going to side with caution because I don't want people to listen to me and make a horrible mistake. The problem with these investors and these realtors and these massive companies like Zillow, CoreLogic, super disappointed in CoreLogic, super disappointed in Redfin, is they stayed overly optimistic when the data was clearly pointing to a housing market that was going to experience price decline. So when these companies remain overly optimistic in the largest transaction of your life, we can assume that they are biased and typically just want to make a profit. Super disappointing because still, even right now, we can't rely on any household names to help lead us through the housing market. Not Zillow, not Redfin, not CoreLogic, not Black Knight, not any of these media stations, other than Moody Analytics is finally out there. Fortune is reporting this information as well. But the reality is, guys, there's not a lot of people that we can lean on to get the proper perspective in this housing market. And you guys, there's really nothing else I can do to try to help the people that refuse to understand. The reality is, unfortunately, sometimes the only way people will learn is when it's already too late. So for you, I say, don't be like those people right now. Right now is a perfect time to become a well-positioned and well-leveraged buyer for the upcoming buying opportunities. And how do you do that? Increase your FICO score by having low utilization ratio on all your credit cards. Save more cash by changing and understanding your spending habits, and make as much money as possible by getting a second job, possibly working overtime, possibly getting more commission. But either way, you guys, don't get lazy and don't get complacent right now, because we need to stay ahead of the unaffordability and ahead of the inflation. And if we do that, we will be in such a great position, you guys. I'm telling you right now, I've already seen this song and dance, but regardless, you guys, I really hope you guys got value, perspective, and insight from today's video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck and I hope you win.